Well, I am so excited for today's conversation with the one and only sovereignty coach, Camila Greenberg. What is a sovereignty coach? You're going to hear all about it in this upcoming podcast. Camila has been an actress on television, film. She's done some major star-studded work in all the mediums, and using all of her background in the arts and in acting, she has transitioned into being someone that helps and guides other creatives, other human beings everywhere from all walks of life to stand in their power and in their presence. It's exactly what we're doing in class, what we're training ourselves to do in real time. Come on in if you want to taste that honey. Just send me an email at robyn@cohenactingstudio.com. We will get you in. This is so your time. It's actually springtime, and we are springing forth into that which you feel called to do. So if this feels like it resonates for you, this podcast episode, or just hearing this notion that this is really your time and like, what are we saving it for? Really, what are we saving it for? I hope they leave me a dry husk of a bone. Use me up, creative gods, in a good way, in a positive way. Let me be nourished. Let my body and soul be nourished here on earth, but use me up. What are we saving it for, right? Let's get in there. Try out a class. Check out an audit situation where you can come in. You don't even have to be on camera. You can come in as an auditor, and you can actually just see what goes on in an actor's life, in a thriving artist's life. And I do also want to add that we have opportunities that are both online and in person. So if you're craving a community from wherever you are in the world, join us in the Zoom room. It's kind of like being on television already. I love the Zoom room for that reason. We're able to use the television and film techniques as we're growing our actual acting technique. And it's such a wonderful opportunity to connect with other like-minded actors. We're also in person, IRL, at a beautiful theater in Burbank. So just email me or DM me on Instagram at Robyn Cohen Acting Studio. I will send you all the details, all the addresses, all the Zoom links. I would love to welcome you there. So without further ado, let's get into it even more deeply with sovereignty coach and actor artist Camila Greenberg. Here we go. Well, hello, and welcome back to Thriving Artists, the Daily Joyride. I am so excited to have a rock star conversation with a woman that I am I'm like a super fan of this lady. We've just met on Siri Baruch Thornton's podcast on a panel discussion, which was really magnificent. But for those of you who don't know her yet, Camila Greenberg is the world's first sovereignty coach, energy healer, podcast host, intuitive psychic, and founder of Soul Space, a soul-led wellness brand. As an empowering spiritual teacher, Camila reawakens sovereignty in women, helping them remember they don't have to choose between being themselves and having everything they want! ! Welcome to the show, Camila. I'm so happy you are here.
Thank you so much for having me. Yes.
Wow.
Camila sounds amazing. Love that bio.
I love her so much. I have to say we're a little dewy, a little schwitzing. We had a dance party to a song that Camila introduced me to called
Anything Can Happen.
Isn't that the greatest? I feel like Anything Can Happen is encoded in what we just heard about you in the bio. I'm just going to dive in with the question because it's on the tip top of my mind. The world's first sovereignty coach. Like, how yummy does that sound? It's so delicious. It makes my mouth water just a little bit. So Camila, can you share a little bit about what that implies, embodies, and intends as your life's work, as part of your life's work these days?
Yeah, absolutely. And the funny thing is, when I first started niching into sovereignty, I remember a mentor was like, nobody knows what that means. Like, nobody gets it. And now I'm sure you've noticed sovereignty is everywhere. Like, everyone is talking about, all the astrologers are talking about, this is the year of sovereignty. Any coach, any healer, any leader in wellness is talking about sovereignty now. And I'm so glad, because what it means is freedom from external control. When we're talking external control, we're not just talking about like a physical prison. We're talking about energetic mental imprisonment, which comes from your conditioning, whether that's from the media, from childhood conditioning, from your partner, your environment, your culture. you're being fed belief systems that keep you imprisoned and keep you from creating the life that you want. So when we talk about manifesting, which I know we've been like obsessed with for 20 years now, right? Thank you, The Secret. I feel like was one of the beginnings that made it commercial, right?
Mm.
But like we've been doing that forever, but you cannot manifest if you are not free from all of that conditioning and belief systems. So sovereignty is taking full and radical ownership over your life and saying, this is how I want to live, and basically getting rid of and alchemizing any beliefs that are keeping you imprisoned.
I love that you are talking about freedom from control, because that's a constraint that comes to me not only from without, but from within me, myself, and I. Trying to control anything is bondage for me.
Robyn,
Yes,
were you, was that how you were born or were you taught
taught.
that bondage? Yes.
Absolutely. So much so that those voices become internalized and like they're mine, as if they're mine, right? You know, they always say when you get in your head, you're dead. We talk about that in acting, like you get in your head,
Yes,
you're
been
dead,
there.
right? And like those thoughts, that's the worst place they could be, right? In your own mind, let alone coming from an actual external source. And I have to ask because it seems like a relevant question. Like, were you born with that? I'm so curious. What is your blood memory? When I see you on Instagram and sharing your work, sharing with the vibrancy and vitality and commitment that you do and rigor that you do, I'm always like, where's this human from? Camila Greenberg. What is your blood in acting, we call it like when we're working on characters, I always ask the students, what is your blood memory? Meaning, is your family originally from Russia? Because you're going to do great with Chekhov plays. Are you originally from anywhere south of the Mason-Dixon line? Because I'm going to give you some Tennessee Williams because it's in your blood memory. Where are you from?
That is such an interesting question. And also, thank you so much for saying that because literally my vitality and my energy is, I think energy is everything. And
Yeah.
so, what we are like exuding
Yeah.
creates our life and not just our life circumstances, but our quality of life. And I teach it, and I'm one of those people that I don't teach a single thing I don't practice. Am I
Nice.
perfect every time? No. But I'll never tell someone to do something that I don't also practice, right? I think,
Yes.
yeah. So, okay, the blood, that's so interesting. First of all, I don't think any of us originate on Earth. So, if we're just gonna, let's get woo-woo right into it. I know I gotta come from some sort of star system because, and the reason I say that is because the gifts, the practices that I do with my clients, sometimes it's almost like an out of body experience where I'm like, where did that come from? I don't even understand some of the modalities that flow through me,
Mm,
but I think the beauty of it is that I allow and surrender, right? So that's the sovereignty, is I no longer try to control. And when you speak of acting, I'm sure you know I was a TV actress for
yeah.
a long time. I won a ton of Best Actress awards at
Ah,
independent
please
film
share a little
festivals.
bit about that
I
because
was
we have
on,
a lot of
yeah,
creatives listening in, a
yeah,
lot of
yeah.
people that are either interested in arts and crafts, as I like to call it, or they're really in the thick of it, aiming to expand their agency and sovereignty as actors and
Yeah.
artists that are like on the court
Ye-
right now. Can you share a little bit
Totally.
about that? Yeah.
Yeah, totally. And I really want to share because it has to do with sovereignty. And also, when you talk blood memory, I come from a European background, but my grandmother escaped the Nazis. Like they stamped her passport. And so, if we talk blood, that's
Yeah.
also in me that like need to be free and accepted.
Yeah.
I also believe that in past lives, I was a healer that was murdered for the work that I did.
Mm.
So again, sovereignty is like freeing yourself from any trauma in this lifetime, past lifetimes, or that have been passed down through your bloodline, your ancestors. And when it comes to acting, I signed with my first modeling acting agency at 5 years old.
Oh, you are so
Now,
cute. Oh,
I crushed, you guys. I was so good.
you got to send me a picture. Oh,
I think my first film was when I was maybe like 7. And I was wearing yellow, which is hilarious. I'm wearing yellow for this. This was an intuitive decision. Yeah. So started at 5, signed with Ford, which is a much bigger agency, around 12, I want to say. And then booked my first TV show in high school. And then moved out to LA at 17, booked my first big role. I was the lead in a Nickelodeon pilot. And since then had been on about 7 Emmy Award winning TV shows, recurring guest stars, co-stars, lead in films. But I think it's important for me to say this, that when I was 5,
Yeah.
do you think I had a frontal lobe developed enough to be like, acting's a good choice for me? Like, no. So when I look at my journey, because I am way more fulfilled now than I was as an actor. And that's not to say acting isn't for anybody listening. It's to say sovereignty is really getting to the core of what is the reason I get up every morning? What makes me feel alive? And I thought acting was peak. But then I realized in my work, in my healing, that truly the conditioning of what I was being taught I was, which I, since birth, was people were commenting on my looks, my presence, my energy, my all these things. And so
For those of
I
you who
said,
are
that's
listening
what,
in but not watching, Camila's a gorgeous, lovely. She has eyes like a beautiful emerald green mermaid, all the things. For those of you who are listening, but check it out on YouTube as well. Okay, go on.
thank you. That's very sweet. But so yeah, I was conditioned in that way that that's how I get love. So then I was wondering, how am I on these sets? You know, I was just listening to a stand-up comedian talk about John Stamos. So everyone's obsessed with him. How am I acting with John Stamos, who I grew up with, watching him on Full House? And I'm so uncomfortable and so not in my power and not enjoying it. And I go to an acting class. I have so much fun, amazing. But when I was actually working, there was more out there for me. And that's when I realized I was conditioned into this life. I was taught by the media that this is it. And the truth is, every single one of us, like, I love that you focus on creativity. That's it. It's not about the outcome or the resume or the paycheck. Truly, our creativity is the most healing medicine in the world. And you can only be creative when you are free, when you are sovereign, because that's when the true inspired creativity flows through you, not the thing you think you need to do for the acting teacher to give you a gold star or to book that commercial.
Right. That's so profound. In acting class, we literally talk about it exactly as you are saying. We're there in acting class, number one, with a community. And I can feel what you said about how with John Stamos, you're on this hit show and it's not comfortable, but you loved being in class. I think the thing about class is that we're with other like-minded souls and spirits who also happen to love this craft. The craft in and of itself, before the cameras, before the agents, before the contracts, before the red carpets. Like, they love just like sitting around a campfire telling stories as they've been doing since the dawn of time. And there's something about doing that with a group of people, as you know, because you work with people in groups, and there is that phenomenon of being greater than the sum of its parts, if you will, that sovereignty that you're talking about expands into something truly holy, I have found. And also, I absolutely resonate with getting to a place that sounds and looks like what everyone's going for. I'm getting to work alongside some of the biggest stars in the world. And it's a little herky-jerky. There's some distress. You know, earlier on, you were talking about you're going to talk the talk, but you're going to walk the walk first. And when that became my highest value, congruency, the whole career changed for me. And it's what I teach in the classes. Like, you play how you train. So we make sure that we are going to bake in to acting class, dance parties. We are going to bake like having the greatest time, breaking our hearts over these magnificent writers. And we're going to literally, inside of what you've been sharing, expand our capacity to simply be the vessel. That's why you go to acting class, to train your voice, body, mind, to let go of tension so you can expand your capacity to be the vessel so that these magnificent stories can actually come through you to their maximum capacity. And you can actually get out the way. That acting, even though we thought it was all about celebrity, isn't even about you. It's about opening up so you can bring a story forth that makes people in the stands feel less alone about being a human being at its best and highest. I love all of that. Sovereignty. I want to rename my whole acting studio to sovereignacting.com.
Oh my God, that's so good. Actually, we should do a workshop. I think that would be incredible, like a sovereign acting workshop, because I also noticed like when it shifted for me in that same way, what you're speaking to, acting got me like, so as you guys heard in my bio, I'm a healer now. I'm a coach. I host retreats around the world. I work one-on-one with women. I work in group containers. I host breathwork sound baths, like everything in the healing and wellness I am. Now, that said, acting is what got me there. And I remember even the first Meisner exercises I did when I was maybe like 19.
You're wearing a yellow shirt.
I'm wearing the yellow shirt.
It's the greatest.
It's so, and there was a presence there. There was a connection that formed. And like you're speaking to, the more I became a vessel, the more God, source, universe, whatever you want to call it, was like, yes, you get it. And it's, you're just a few inches off of the exact thing. There's more. There's almost like a different way for it to come through that's more aligned with your soul. So it's still coming through. It's just we all have a different way of channeling the energy that wants to come through.
That's literally the design of acting improvisation. Yes, and like you had these gifts and you went where it seemed really kind of logical to go and heart-centered to go at the time, but it was that and something else that was calling. It's the yes and. We do that as actors, right? In the scene, it's always a yes and, right? We incorporate, we utilize, we work off our partner. And you did that with your life's trajectory. You were like, yes, actor, and yes, yes, and.
Yes, over and over and over. And the next thing you know, I work with like 10 different modalities because I did exactly that. I started in improv in television, that Nickelodeon pilot I told you about. It was a scripted improv pilot with a really well-known comedian. Tim Stack played my father. And it is that. It is when life gives you something, if you reject it, you will suffer, period. And I was explaining this in one of my classes, and this woman really challenged me on it. And she goes, but if I have a flat tire, you want me to say yes, and you want me to say, because I was using the phrase yes, please, and thank you.
Yes, please.
And I was using that as a mantra. And she goes, you want me to go, yes, please, and thank you? I don't want that to happen again. And I'm like, oh, no, boo. Here's the deal. If it happened and you are resistant to this happening, oh, this shouldn't have happened. Oh my God, how stressful, whatever. Guess what you're bringing back in more of into your life. So we have it a little backwards in a lot of like the spiritual wellness spaces where you're like, oh, no, I can't be grateful for a flat tire. Yes, you can. So yes, you can, or yes, I can. Because then what happens is you're saying, yes, this is an amazing thing that happened. Guess how that's going to turn out? Well, next thing you know, the AAA person who comes to fix your tire, you have a conversation with them. They unlock something for your new script. Next thing you know, you're inspired to write your new script. Next thing you know, you have this project that you're obsessed with that launches your career. Like, as long as you are in the mentality of yes, please, and thank you, life will always turn out. It will alchemize any circumstance into a blessing.
You are a psychic, and you've just proven the point. I just had an experience. So I'm at a park where there's a gorgeous canal on the East Coast. It's the end of the day. The park is closing. I'm in a gigantic parking lot. My car and maybe one other car. Park is closing. Go to turn on my car. Sun is going down. Car is dead. I sat there and I was like, well, such a nice evening. I'll just walk around. I was like, I'll just walk around until the sun goes down. What am I going to do? So I'm like walking around. Eventually I come back to the car, which is dead as a doornail. And I'm like, I could really use AAA. I could really use a tow right now. You know what'd be nice? If there was a tow truck that I could just sort of, I don't know, get towed to a mechanic or just get a tow. 45 seconds later,
Ha!
I look to the left and there's a tow truck with a gigantic flatbed. The one other car in this gigantic parking lot, this elderly couple, they're also having a dead battery issue. They're getting their car towed, and I'm like, hey, friends, what's going on over here? And they're like, car's dead. I was like, they were actually getting their car towed. It was going up onto the flatbed. But I said to the gentleman helping this elderly couple, my car's dead too. And he's like, where is it? I was like, it's right over there. And he said, let me finish there. 4.5 minutes later, he came over. He had the elderly couple in the front seat. He attaches his jumper cables to my battery, charges up the car, and I am back on my way, on the road, back home. Less than 5 minutes after I had just been thinking, I'm going to enjoy the sunset. And you know what? Would be really nice, a tow truck. And then what? And we were off. So to your point, the yes and I also experience that as acceptance of now.
Yes.
Acceptance of now.
Yes.
Now, accepting now. I might not like it. I might not like it. I might not like it. That's where I think I get caught because I'm like, people will say to me, but I don't want that. I might not like it. Like, I'd prefer to have a tow truck. I'd prefer to not be stuck in this deserted park at night. I'd prefer it. But yes, okay. So now what? Yes, it's dead. Now what? I'll take a little stroll. Now what? So exactly what you shared. There's something about going with the tide as opposed to trying to always swim upstream, which I know actors and artists and human beings everywhere are so often. We're trying to swim upstream and we're exhausted and demented because of it. And I know that's a strong word, but it has been my experience.
Absolutely. And to go further with that, I want to talk about the science of it a little bit, but also to speak to specifically acting. How interesting is it to watch a character just be super frustrated that the car's dead and spiraling? It's like if you were to watch a whole film about that, that's not interesting. Like life is happening, and think about in a scene with another character, you're constantly responding to what's here, right? And that's what makes it full of life, is if you're accepting every little thing the person gives to you. And we know this already. Like if you're in any sort of like any part of the industry, you know that some of the most amazing moments on TV and film were improv because
An accident.
the other actor, yes, the other actor sneezed or made one little movement or something, and it inspired something naturally to come out because they were present and they were accepting everything that was there.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I think that's beautiful. I also think in regard to the career part of it, where, you go out for a big audition and you don't get it. And if you start resisting that, like it should have been mine, I should have da. Guess what? Your next audition comes. Or you think you're in a place to be creative and inspired and juicy? No, you're still stuck on the thing last week that was never meant for you. And for all you know, that's not a project that's going to go in the direction you want. And this other one would, but you can't even see it. You can't be present for it. Like the science of like, Robyn, if you were upset, reactive to what happened and making it mean, oh, I'm being like punished by the universe or it's so terrible, whatever it is, like you wouldn't have been in your frontal lobe, meaning you wouldn't have been able to see the tow truck.
Yeah.
Like your reticular activating system, which is this part of your brain, a bunch of neurons, they look for what you believe. They look to prove your beliefs right. So if you believed, oh, of course this happens to me, blah, blah, blah. Guess what? You're not seeing that tow truck. And more things are going to happen. Versus if you're like, all right, this is where my night's taking me. Okay, what's next? Ooh, a tow truck would be fun. You were actually, your whole brain was working to find a tow truck or someone who has a tow truck or some, you know what I mean? Like it was doing its job.
Yes. And
Yeah.
I'm curious. Okay, it's two-pronged. The first part is, what would you tell an actor, yourself, me, I have creatives that come to me and they really wanted the part. Like they wanted it. They fell in love with the story, with the writing, with the role. It's like actually they care and they're heartbroken, let's say. And I'm not going to mince words because sometimes it feels like when you fall in love with, even if it's an imaginary character, it can feel like a heartbreak when they go another way, when you don't get the job, when you don't get the call back. What would you say actors can do on the court in real time? They've just gotten the no or the pass on something they really wanted in that moment. You know, I've been watching your beautiful videos and you shake and you dance and you start moving energy so magnificently, Camilla. But what can someone actually do in real time the moment they get that news and it feels, and they tell me like a punch, a gut punch, a knife. They said that, a knife in the heart, you know. So what would you tell them in those moments that could provide a salve?
Absolutely. So the first thing to know and to believe wholeheartedly is what's meant for you will never pass you. There's no way. There's absolutely 0% chance that what's meant for you is going to pass you by. Now, the second thing is to ask the question, what am I making this mean about myself or the world?
Yeah.
Because the truth is, just like romantic relationship and just like every experience we have in life, we are growing from it. It is giving us gifts. The same way every single role. I mean, I'll never forget when I auditioned for the Marilyn Monroe movie. I channeled Marilyn Monroe. It was unbelievable. I still watch that audition tape and I get full chills, like full chills. They went with Anna, I can't remember her exact name. So obviously, very different direction. That said, there was no upset because being in Marilyn Monroe's shoes offered me a level of healing and understanding about what it is to be human, what it is to be in her position. And every single role you're auditioning for or you're working on in a class is helping you grow as a person. So you never, same thing as a relationship. There's never a wasted relationship because you are growing, you are changing, you are being challenged, you are learning more about yourself. And if that's true, then on the other side of every audition, you are better, not just as an actor, but as a human.
That is magnificent. Yes.
So the first thing is nothing that's for you can ever pass you by. The second thing is ask yourself, what am I making this mean about myself or the world? Perhaps you're making it mean that you're not enough, that you didn't work hard enough, that the industry is against the way that I look, whatever it is, right? I'm too tall for it, whatever stories you're making up in your head. Okay. So write those down so you can really look at them and like work through them. But the third thing is, I would suggest you write down all of the ways this role changed you for the better.
So that is class. Whether it was you doing the Meisner work in your acting classes, whether it was you not just looking, but really seeing people for the first time in those early classes, whether it was allowing yourself not just to be heard, but really listened to on the level. You can't grow as an actor and not grow as a human being. And the whole design of it, just as you said, I couldn't have said it better, just a corroboration, like working on that role in the hands of that superb writing. Because some of these plays, especially Pulitzer Prize winning plays, Shakespeare, doesn't get any better than that. And when you're in the hands of the greatest writers that have ever lived, you can't not grow. In fact, these writers, they teach us where we need to develop ourselves, our artistry, and our souls so that we can actually meet them. So if you're growing as an actor, like you said, you're growing as a human being. And I think that's the thing that's kept me in this since the dawn of time, because I feel that and I see it all the time, 100% of the time. And I also see the other thing, which you spoke about when you said you discovered that acting wasn't exactly the thing. I also love it when actors are like, you know what? This isn't it. This ain't the thing. I love it when actors say, this isn't my jam, for a couple reasons. Number one, they went for it. They tried. They showed up. They put themselves on the court, brave, right? Courageous. They dug in. And then they could get all of that feedback to finally make a real decision that would, as it did with you, like it set you on a path which you were meant to live, breathe, and fulfill. So I'm thrilled because the world needs more soul architects like yourself. The world needs more healers like yourself. The world needs gardeners, and the world needs chefs, and the world needs every kind of thing. So wonderful for everyone listening. If you want to know if acting is for you, try it. You're going to get that feedback by trying it out so much more quickly so that you can then receive the download for what is next.
Can I speak to some of this?
Please, please.
Yeah. I feel like, Jim Carrey says, I hope everyone gets fame and millions of dollars so you
Yeah.
realize that it's
Yeah.
not it. That's how it felt at certain times, was when things were going really well in my career, that like, okay, I feel like I really did this. And that said, like, obviously I still act here and there when it feels aligned for me. But what I will say is it wasn't the end. And it led me to what I do now, because to understand and to feel into the human experience in all these different circumstances is what heals, in my opinion, what heals humanity. Because we have too many people who are trapped, again, imprisoned by their conditioning, and have never even thought to look at things from a different person's perspective. And that's where we have the kind of societal struggles that we have right now. And so acting is a way to, whether, and I also want to say this to anybody listening, I'm not talking about giving up. Never in my life. If this is what you are meant to do, I want you to play full out 100%. This is your path, and I will do anything in my power, and so will Robyn, to make sure that you are on that journey, and that is what's happening. And I want to say that no matter what happens and wherever you're called to go, acting has the benefit of making you a better human being to lead you to whatever it is you are meant to do. Now, I want to share this story because I think it's so powerful and speaks to something you just shared. My friend, because I believe that sovereignty is using your intuition as well. And I had a roommate once, and now she's very successful in the business. And one of the things she was really good at is staying integrous. This role is not for me. This role is for me. This is what I want. Versus, like, I was in a space in my life where I wanted to take anything I could get because I had some insecurities and whatever. So I had a friend, Charles, and he would get like a modeling gig here and there. And he's in one of my acting classes. And we went to coffee one time, and he said he's obsessed with self-help, acting books, like always reading something to better himself, better himself, better himself. And then one day he was like, I really want to read this biography of this I can't even remember who it was, a baseball player, I think. He was like, I just felt really called. So I ordered the book, I read it, and as soon as I was done reading the book, I got an audition. He told me the description for the audition, it was a series regular role on a CW show. And he said the description matched the biography. This person, I'm getting chills. It was the exact type of character. It was.
Wow.
Of course, he books it. He's on the show for 6 years. I'm getting full chills.
Yeah.
And that launched his success. But that wasn't what he thought he had to do. It was him going, all right, I surrender. I'm yes-anding that things aren't flowing for me right now in my career. And I'm going to read a book that I'm passionate about, that I'm lit up by.
Yeah.
And boom.
There it is.
Yes.
That's just incredible. Speaking of opening ourselves as actors, the training of acting cannot get accomplished if the artist doesn't have masses of compassion. And if they don't, to be an excellent first-rate actor, you literally have to develop empathetic and compassion skills. You actually can't be an actor without it, because your job, they pay you to walk a mile in someone else's shoes. That's what they pay you to do. So when you say it's going to open you up to being better at whatever you do, because this is a world populated with people and opportunities and magic and interconnectivity. And if you want to step into that river boldly and powerfully, what better skill than compassion and empathy and understanding for what other people are going through? And so much of what we do in class is the script analysis, like, understanding who this person is, what makes them tick, where they're from, how they were raised, what they live for, and what they would die for. And then putting your shoulder behind that, like it's actually your life.
Yeah.
And that's the training, whether you
Mm.
end up, working as an actor professionally, what that will do for you as a human being walking the earth is enormous. That's
100%. 100%. And that leads me to something I'll never forget. My friend Ashton, he's a brilliant actor. He's had a great career. And I worked on him with an audition. I brought it over to his place and
Is this Ashton Kutcher?
no, but I have worked with Ashton Kutcher. That's crazy that you said that. No, it's a different Ashton. But I went over to his place and I said, here is this script for my audition. It's so lame. The character's so stupid. She's just mean and like, and he just looked at me and he said, Camilla, let's not judge the character.
Right,
It's
right.
not our job to judge her. It's our job to understand and be her.
That's right.
And I booked the role.
Right.
And because he helped me shift into the humanity of it. And one of the things, I feel like the stories that I hear from the clients I work with clients on levels where they're like, my life is great and I just want to manifest the love of my life. And I'm like, great, let's do it. But I also work with clients who have been through the most unbelievable heartache and trauma and abuse.
Yeah.
And when they tell me these stories, I think that the reason I'm so good at what I do is because of my acting background, where I learned to empathize and to put myself in people's shoes so that I can understand why a person would abuse another person. I can be in that space to understand how much pain a person needs to be in to cause pain for another.
Mm.
And I can do it no longer from a space of judgment or ridicule, but from understanding and compassion.
Mm.
And so, if not for my acting background and that training, and especially what he said, I mean, that shifted the trajectory of my life in a lot of ways.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, if not for that, I wouldn't be serving people to the degree that I am.
Mm. In class, we talk about it. I share with the students, judgment is kryptonite. It's the kryptonite. Superman, you're so young. So many of my listeners are amazingly young. But
No,
there's this movie called Superman. And in Superman, there's this thing called kryptonite, for those of you who were born just recently. And kryptonite destroys everything. And
mhm.
the same is true with judgment when we bring that to the table as actors, that it blocks us, it constrains us, it restricts us, and it keeps us separate from the thing that we are either being paid to embody or eventually will be if we book the audition, like you did when you were able to soften, loosen that judgment and constraint. Once that melted, then you could carry her heart in yours
Yeah.
and tell the truth about her experience with an understanding of why she was doing what she was doing. And it was probably the first time that they saw that, the casting directors, while they were holding those auditions. That's amazing. It's part of acting technique. I love that you have so much experience in the world of being an actor because it really translates so powerfully in what you do. You're able to talk to people that you work with and your clients from both sides of the table. Like you
Mhm.
actually can hold space for all of it, right? So that whatever the case, even if there's been really awful, awful stuff, that you're able to hold so much space, so much love that something can actually be transformed. I got to ask, who have been some of your teachers, mentors, guides? I hear so many beautiful echoes of our spiritual and practical teachers. I hear the Landmark Forum, Tony Robbins. I hear Michael Beckwith. I mean, you're an intuitive and you're downloading
Mhm.
from the gods. And I think at its best and highest, at its best and highest, we're saying the same things in our own particular, unique, once in a cosmos ways. But when you decided, because it's such a cool trajectory that you've had, which incorporates so much, so you went from like training as an actor and working in Hollywood to leading retreats and sound baths.
Hmm.
So did you seek out new training programs or you got with mentors or you read and absorbed and now you're living it?
Okay, so first of all, it wasn't a choice for me to do what I do. It didn't feel like I consciously made this decision. I
Yeah.
think that it was a yes and. It was a, okay, universe, whatever you say. And one of my first acting instructors, Diane Solinger, when I first moved out here, so it must have been 17, 18 when I started working with her, she showed me the secret. which was the beginning of a very intense spiritual revolution for myself.
That movie.
Michael Beckwith,
Yeah.
I used to go to Agape every Sunday, of
Yes.
course, but also a bunch of different spiritual teachings, the Baha'i teachings, Buddhism.
Yeah.
I would chant in regard to that. Kabbalah, like I kind of was like, yes, yes, yes to everything, right? And this was while I was auditioning and working as an actress. And it kept going, kept going. I hired my first coach. She was an acting/life coach, probably at 20. Started getting into yoga, wellness, holistic health, all of these things, right? As I'm progressing through my career. And I say progressing, but honestly, I think I started at the top and started to decline as I started to heal. Because, like I shared with you, my choice to be an actor at 5 years old was more like, Daddy, please love me.
Oh,
Like, this is what's going to get me love
tell me about it. Tell me about it.
than my soul. So, but I also think like had I not gone on this journey, like I said, I wouldn't have been led to heal so much. And if I wasn't led to my own healing and my own freedom and sovereignty, then I wouldn't be able to guide others to it.
Yeah.
So I soaked up everything, Robyn. I went to meditation retreats. I did plant medicine. I said yes to all of it. And then I don't know how well you're into astrology or how much you know about astrology, but the Saturn return happens around 28.
Yes.
And for everyone, it's a 2-year period. It's different for everybody exactly when it starts, but it really affects people. A number of things can happen, but it's sort of like your adulting planet. And I remember there were just so many breakdowns. And I said, Robyn, I just said, I'm done. Like speaking of yes, and I kept resisting. I kept trying. I kept fighting to keep going, even though I wasn't sure about acting. Right? I just kept trying and trying and trying, thinking this was going to get me the thing that I needed. And I was so poor and I was so inflamed in my body and I was so not in alignment with my truth. So I said, I'm done. I'm dropping everything. I'm not going to try anymore. I have nothing left to lose. I am done. And I said, every morning I'm going to wake up and listen to my heart. And whatever my heart tells me to do, I'm going to do it. So I would do that. And every day it told me to go to a coffee shop. I would go to whatever coffee shop. I would speak to whoever my heart said to speak to. And I would end up accidentally changing their life.
Oh.
And I would get this feedback. And I said, okay, God, but like, can I make money? I was like, what do I do with this? And I'm telling you, the universe through synchronicities that would blow your mind. I mean, I need to write a book about it, but the universe said, you're going to get certified in yoga. And then my heart, right after I got certified for yoga, the day after, I ran into a mentor. He tells me, can you sub for me this week? I said, yes. I basically shit my pants thinking about it. I was so nervous. I did it. And then, because he was like a big yogi, right? Like a celebrity yogi.
Yeah.
And I did it. The first class I teach, this woman comes up to me after. We start talking. I start saying the right things, asking the right questions. And I said, I'm a coach. Do you want me to support you in this? And that was my first client. And it's kept happening like that. Like I was teaching yoga classes and then someone was like, hey, can you do sound healing in your yoga class? And I said, yes, okay. Bought a sound bowl on Amazon and just started doing. Now, that said, of course, I always then get my certifications and whatever and do for, the validation and for clients to look and say, okay, she's actually certified in these things. But that's not how it originally happened. It happened because like we talked about, I said yes, even if I was shaking, even if I was sweating, even if my stomach was not well. I said yes, and it always led to a more abundant life, a more beautiful life. And I'll tell you this, I'm doing really well right now. I feel very blessed, very successful, very abundant. That said, if ever I try to control, if ever I do it for the money, if ever I'm doing it because it's the right thing to do, or this coach is doing it, or that person's doing it, right? I know you actors out there, you artists, like I know you're doing it. You're looking at that person over there and saying they do it this way. No, 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 no. It's only when I come back to my heart and I say, okay, you tell me. You tell me what to do and I will do it. Like even sovereignty. Remember what I said? At the beginning of this podcast, I said, my mentor was like, don't use that word. Nobody knows what it means, blah, 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 blah. Now everybody's talking about it because I stay true to myself. That's what makes it, that's what makes it successful.
And what makes it so? What makes it so? Use me. Oh Lord, where would you have me go? What would you have me do? What would you have me say and to whom when I get there?
Course in Miracles. Yes,
Ah,
absolutely.
remarkable,
Absolutely.
remarkable. Oh, this is amazing. All right, we're getting to that moment where we're going to have to say goodbye. For now, I want to just ask you, number one, where can people find you? And after you've shared that tidbit, which will also be in the show notes, riddle me this. So let's say you have the stage, a global platform. What do you want to give to the world right now? Right now. What do you want to give to the world from a place where everyone and all can hear and feel you?
I'm just going to let my heart speak for a moment.
Yeah.
And she says, even if you do not feel it or believe it, even if you can't seem to perceive this as truth, you are free. 100% free. Every single wall, barrier, limiting circumstance or condition in your life is not real unless you make it so. This isn't about faking it. This isn't about lying to yourself. This is about coming home to your truth, and your truth is that you are free now, right now, in this moment. And if you can hold that truth in your system, in your body, in your heart, in your mind, then every decision moving forward will show you how free you really are.
Amen.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And follow me on Instagram, everybody. No, no.
Because now we're all your followers.
You did ask, and I would love to connect with anyone that has been touched by you, Robyn, because I know that we are sharing the same medicine in different forms.
Yes. And where are you? You're somewhere from the South. I hear it in one or two of the dialectical, beautiful subtleties that you have. Are you from the South anywhere? Your family?
I mean, technically Arizona's South, but my dad is from the Bronx and Queens. So that's really interesting. I like it though.
Well, it's beautiful. It's worldly. You represent all of the sounds from everywhere. You are every woman.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But I'm actually literally in Los Angeles. I literally live right now in Los Angeles. And I would be happy to guest any of your people into an experience with me, whether it's in person. I do a lot of like IG live things. I do online workshops, all kinds of juicy stuff. So find me, say hi if you're listening to this. I would love to hear what landed for you. Truly.
Yes, you will. Oh, Camila, what a joy. What a treat. This was like delicious, nourishing candy.
Yeah, like dark, really dark chocolate. Like the kind where it's like it still tastes amazing, but getting the antioxidants. Yeah.
All at the same time. Thank you. Thank you so much. And
thank you.
Looking forward to creating our part 2 and beyond when the time is right.
Oh, I love that. And thank you so much for, first of all, everything you do. Second, for allowing this space to exist, for people to continue this medicine and to share this medicine together. So I just really, really appreciate this time with you. Thank you.
Likewise. Thank you. Namaste. Namaste.
Namaste. Yeah.
Thanks, Camila.
Beautiful.
Until next time. Bye. 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 Bye.
Bye.
Whoa, was that wonderful? Camila Greenberg, what a beautiful soul, and someone who's really out there for artists and human beings everywhere. To have them recognize who they are, to have them open up their vessels, expand their capacity to receive the goodness of this universe, in a sense, get out of our own way. Isn't that what we're doing in acting classes and as creatives? We're getting out of our own way so we can become the vessel for these phenomenal stories to come through us. us so that we can share them with audiences and people in the stadiums around the world so that they can feel less alone in this wild and unpredictable world. You can actually have stability in knowing that you're a soul and that is forever, and nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal, all the stories we make up, they don't even exist. And I think therein lies the peace of God. I'm not the first person that has said that, but it is something we're practicing in acting classes, in a way, getting out of our own way so these gorgeous stories can actually come through. So if that speaks to you, get in touch with me on Instagram at Robyn Cohen Acting Studio. I'm offering classes right now online and in person. You can also email me, robyn@cohenactingstudio.com. I'm also so excited to set up a collaboration with Camila. We're going to do that as soon as the time is right. But I hope that you will hear this podcast as an opening, as a possibility for creating a life that you love, that has ease and has a reckoning with the magnificence that you are, that your value is inherent. It's not how the scene goes. It's not whether they give you the job, that you as a human being have inherent value and worth. But I do hope that this lit a spark in you. And if you are feeling called, this is your cue. This really is, in every sense of the word, your time. So if this is lighting you up, share this episode with a friend. Or if this is knocking on your creative door, let me know, DM me, get in touch. We will find a Zoom room or a live theater space that has a seat with your name on it. Until next time, thriving artists, the Daily Joyride is on your side for all of your creative dreams coming true. Mwah! See you soon.